Hey, everybody. Welcome to Saturday night's live stream with me. Hey, if you're joining me for the first time, I appreciate you. Much love. And if you're coming back, I love you as well. I didn't time this right. So if you guys can excuse me just for a minute, I need to go get something. I'll be right back. I promise. I'm so sorry. I had to go grab my coffee. I had to get my coffee. This is important. Alex, oh my gosh. Hi, Alex. We're finally hooking up. Let's go. Alex is in the house. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate you, bro. All right, let me get a sip of this coffee and we're going to get into this topic, okay? Oh, it's hot. All right. What is tonight's topic? This is a big one, and this is a controversial one too. This is sort of pushing hot buttons on the internet, and I thought I should bring that to you. And we'll go over what it is. We'll go over why they're doing it, and we'll go over, excuse me, if it's a positive or negative. But yeah, Europe's new entry-exit system actually starts November 10. Now, why is that important? Well, November 10th is around the corner, guys. Like, we're talking less than 2 months. This is going into place, and it's going to be something permanent and new. And some people dig it and think it's going to be a good thing. And a lot of people are saying, like, no bueno, I don't want to go to Europe. I don't want my personal data out there. So let me pull up this little article that I want to start with. So give me a second. We'll get into that. Let me see. All right. So here we go. If you guys can see this. Yeah, you can see it. All right. CNN Travel says it's the end of an era. The big change coming to European travel in November. Okay. Now, what really caught my eye in this article is this one section here, which is what we're going to get into. And it says, goodbye to EU passport stamps. Paper, and if I can't say all this right, don't worry. Mementos of our travels, from boarding cards, even passports themselves are fast moving into obsolescence. The inky, smudgy joy of fresh passport stamp will be a thing of the past for visitors to the 29 countries of the European Union Schengen area starting November 10. That's when the new automated entry-exit system, EES, comes into effect. Now, they go further and they talk about the ETIAS visa waiver program. That's all another animal altogether, and we're not even going to get into that. What we're focusing on is this entry-exit system. Okay. So right now they're saying they're getting rid of the passports. Woo. I don't know. Maybe not completely. I think you still need a paper passport. We'll see. I love passport stamps too, Alex. And that sucks because, yeah, I love them too. Anyway, let's look at something else. Now, I pulled up a couple of TikToks. I want you to see, this sort of explains what's happening here. So let me get into this one TikTok. Let's see if we can find it. Where is it? Bear with me, because we're going to get into this tonight, bro. All right. First of all, let's watch this little doodad about what exactly this does, okay? All right. Do you catch that right there? Do you see exactly what I'm looking at right there? So what are they collecting? It says you'll need to provide your passport, so you still need it, your fingerprints, and have a photo of your face taken. It's a face ID scan. In other words, biometrics, people. Fingerprints, face scan. So what does that say? All right, so all law-abiding citizens are going to have their fingerprints scanned and their faces scanned before they can go in or out of a Schengen zone country. Okay? So keep that in mind. They all got our data anyway. Yeah, you're right. You're right, Alex. They all do have our data anyway. I think you know where this is going. All right, let's check out this second one here. Let me get into this other one that I had pulled up. Listen to this guy. Now, he is Spanish, might be a little hard to understand, but let's just follow what this guy is. He's going to explain to you what this system's all about.
Attention, because what's happening on November the 10th will affect yearly more than 700 million travelers from all around the world. The European Union finally confirmed the entry date of the new entry-exit system, and this will completely change how you enter Europe. What's the system and how it will affect you? Well, from now on, instead of the traditional manual stamp on your passport, when entering Europe, you'll face a self-serving kiosk where all your biometric data will be stored and registered online. But biometric data is not the only thing that will register, also the date where you are entering the European Union and the date where you are exiting. This will apply for those who are requested a visa to enter the Schengen area and also those who are visa exempt. All this is very important because from now on, fulfilling with the 90-day rule will be 100% necessary. Why? Because there will be no more renewing your passport in order to eliminate the stamp that marks your entry. Now you'll have to fill this rule 100%. So a new way of traveling to Europe.
Okay. So evidently, people are renewing their passport. This is news to me because I didn't know you can do this. You can renew your passport and skirt around the 90-day rule? What? I don't know about that, but okay. So this begs the question, and I know that, like I said, this is a hot topic with immigration, especially undocumented immigration that's happening all over Europe, not to mention my home country, the United States. Now, we don't have anything like this yet, but do you think it's coming? I don't know. I think it may be coming to the United States as well. So I sort of dug down this rabbit hole and I was like, does anybody else actually in the world have this system already in place? And lo and behold, I found something. Oh, yeah, it's coming. Oh, yeah. Take a wild guess. Pick a country right now. I want you to take a wild guess, Alex. I know you're in the chat. What country do you think already has the entry-exit system in place? You want me to give you a clue? I'm going to give you a clue. I'm going to see if you can guess, but I'll give you a clue. The country starts with a C and ends with an A. It's not Germany. It starts with a C and ends with an A. You know where I'm going with this, right? Good old Google. You got to love Google. AI on Google says China. China, baby. China already has the entry-exit system. You see that? It says China has an entry and exit system, and it has some similarities to the European Union's new entry-exit system. This is what the Chinese are already doing. It says here, the Chinese citizens must present their passports or other travel documents to border inspection authorities when entering or exiting the country. And it goes on to other stuff. So they actually physically have to go to a border inspector and show their docs. So the difference here is actually Canada. That was a good job. Canada's probably next, right? But the thing is, the difference here, China has to physically go in front of a person, sort of like you already have to do now, which is like a passport control immigration officer, right? When you walk now, you go up there, you give them your passport, they run you through the computer, they take a picture of your face, boom, they stamp you, they give it back, and you're gone, right? So China's still got that, but yet with this new European system, they're actually saying, well, it's a self-service kiosk. So you don't have to go to the line, and it's going to save queue time and, make things quicker. Well, anyway, we'll get into some of the questions and the answers because I went onto their website. I thought this was pretty interesting. I went to the entry exit system website and I got into some of their, questions and answers. And I just want to go over some of these with you because maybe these are some of the questions that you got going on in your mind right now. So let's get into that. We're going to present it right about no. Boom. Boom, boom. Bada boom, bada bang, boom, boom. I'll try to blow it up for you guys. Okay, here we go. All right, so what does it do? I'm not going to bore you too much, but let's go hit the highlights. It applies to you if you are a non-European national traveling for a short stay to a European country using the system, and you either possess a short stay visa or do not need a visa to stay for a max of 90 days in a 180-day period. Okay. Your travel doc data and other personal data will be collected, including your entry and exit dates, and will be registered electronically in the system. This procedure will facilitate your border crossing. If you overstay the period allowed in the European countries using the EES, the system will identify you and record this information. In the event that the authorities refuse you entry, the system will also record this information. Okay, interesting. Next question. What is the purpose of the EES? Here's what they're saying. It modernizes border management across the European countries using the system by electronically registering non-EU national entries and exits or entry refusals. Right, got that. Makes border checks more efficient, gradually improving the experience for the traveler. Okay. Effectively combats identity fraud by collecting biometric data. Improves security within the EU and helps control terrorism and serious organized crime by acting as an identity verification tool. All right, I want to stop right there because this is the one thing that really sort of like triggers me with a little bit of a worry. You see that part? Helps identify people for a possible crime. Okay. Let's say, for instance, I'm just playing devil's advocate. Okay. Check it out. I'm just playing devil's advocate. What if your information gets switched with a terrorist, right? Think about how many names and like the different variations of spellings there are with names, okay? Or if somebody purposely hacked their system, which we know hacking happens all the time, right? If somebody purposely hacked the system and did something to your identification and put you on a terrorist list, boom, you go into one country, they scan you and they pull you right there because somewhere in the system, they say you're a terrorist. Like I said, I'm just like addressing a little bit of an elephant in the room. What you say, Alex? Terrorists can have fake fingerprints, fake passports, and fake IDs. True. Yep. Hacking's always possible, but I assume the system will be protected. Let's go deep into that. That's exactly what I thought too. Let's just see how they store your data. Are you a little curious about it? I am. Let's go further. Okay. let's see if we really want to read all this. Just says shortens queue time. See, the EES also makes it easier to identify people who have stayed for longer than permitted, like an overstayer, who are using fake IDs or passports, Alex, who have no right to enter the European countries using the EES. As a result, the EES supports the ID of terrorists, criminals, suspects, and victims of crimes. Do you believe it? Do you believe it? Do you think that's really going to work? And yeah, here's the thing. Terrorists and spies are really good at hiding their ID. And I mean, they've probably been really good at biometrics and facial prints and everything. Like they know how to get around this. All right, let's move on to the rest of this stuff. Let's just check this one part out. All right. What are they storing on you? It says it stores different biometric identifiers depending on whether or not you need a short stay visa. Do you need a short stay visa to travel Europe? In this case, the system will store only your facial image if you need a short stay visa. Okay. If you don't need a visa, they're going to store 4 of your fingerprints and your facial image. And it says children under 12 are not scanned. Interesting. Okay, let's move on to this next part. Why are the biometric data stored in the EES? Well, it says it's a reliable method of accurately IDing people, okay, for mistaken ID, discrimination, and racial profiling, reducing those cases, supposedly. IDing undocumented travelers already present in the territory of the Schengen zone. Now, they call them irregular migrants. And matching entry and exit dates for the bona fide traveler. So let's go back, look at identifying undocumented travelers already present in the territory. Okay, so in my mind, this is what I'm thinking. 4 fingers, why we got 10. Yeah, right? I think they take these, you saw the video, they take the first 4. So I don't know what's up with that. Okay. So they're saying that it's going to help identify the undocumented migrants that are already in the territory. So in my mind, okay, it's saying, let's say you're undocumented and you want to move from one Schengen country to the other. That's when they're actually going to catch you, right? But let's say you never leave the country that you illegally entered. How are they going to know unless you try to cross the border? So I still don't think it's 100%. Anyway, that's just my train of thought. Okay, let's go into more of these little thingies here. All right, so it says it's supposedly going to increase security, preventing children from going missing or becoming victims of trafficking, reducing the risk of people being wrongfully apprehended and arrested, helping fight serious crime and terrorism. It all sounds good on paper, right? Although collecting biometrics can have an impact on travelers' privacy, the technology used in the EES ensures that people's fundamental rights are protected. Okay. So how does automation ease border crossings to non-EU nationals? Well, let's see. It says automation means that you are able to benefit from dedicated equipment, a self-service system, if available at the boarding crossing. It allows you to register when crossing the border, check if your data is still recorded in the system, and upload them to verify your passport before you get to the passport control officer. Okay, after using the system, you can go to the border control lane where the passport control officer will have already received your info from the self-service system, confirms your identity, and then the remaining time of your stay. The passport control officer can then ask further questions before deciding to grant or refuse you access to the respective territory. So, like I said, it all sounds good on paper, but here's the thing. Here's the thing, Steve. Okay, hold on, Alex. What you talking about? Let's see. How did the undocumented person get in there in the first? Okay, well, that's the thing. See, they're all in there now, and they're still flowing in there now because they got till November 10, right? So I think it's going to be a mad rush between now and November 10 because this is coming down the pipes. The only way that says that they're going to catch these people that have already come in there illegally is if they try to cross the border after November 10, because they're going to have to present all of their fingerprints in their face at the border. So yeah, maybe that's how they're going to catch them, right? Wink, wink. Okay, here's the next question. Let's get into this other one. What kind of passport do you need to use the self-service system? Well, it says you need to have either a biometric passport or a regular passport. Like, okay, for instance, guys, this is my regular US passport. That's what they mean by a non-biometric passport. So the biometric passport contains a chip with your biometric info collected from you at the moment you applied for the passport. If you do not have this biometric passport, you will not be able to use the self-service systems. Okay, so what does that say? I'm not going to be able to use the self-service system with this type of passport, right? Which means I'm going to have to go into the actual physical queue line like we do already and have them check me. So I think it's going to be a while before people actually have a biometric passport. This is going to take some time to roll out and implement. You have a biometric passport? No kidding. Wow. Okay. Yeah, biometric, non-biometric. This is the non-biometric passport. At least it is in my opinion, because this is my regular passport. I don't know. I've never had a biometric passport, so I don't know. Okay, so here's the next question. Do I need a biometric passport to cross the borders of the European countries using the EES? The answer is no. In principle, both biometric and non-biometric passports will be accepted when crossing the borders if valid and all the other entry conditions are fulfilled. You only need biometric passports if you want to use automated ways to cross the borders, self-service systems, which are available at certain border crossing points. Okay, so sounds like we're all cool. But that doesn't mean they're not going to collect my data. But then again, they already have my face. And some countries actually already have my fingerprint. 1 or 2 of my fingerprints, they tell you to stamp your fingerprint down, stand in front of a camera, get your mug shot, get your stamp, and go. Same thing. Okay. Big question here. Will I be refused entry if I do not hold a biometric passport? No. Let's go to the next one. Okay, so then they go into family members, blah, blah, blah. If you really want to get into this, I'm not going to get into all that part, but this is the system. It's the European Union official website, okay? And that's where you can get all of the information. Let me see if there was something else I wanted to show you from their website. So let me just get in to one other thing. So give me a second here. Let me see. Okay, I think this might be important. Let me show you this. Okay, we know the data they're collecting. So they're collecting not only your fingerprints, right, and your face, but they're collecting your full name, date of birth, where you're coming in and where you're going out of the countries, and whether you were refused entry. Okay. Now, we already went into why they're collecting everything. They tell you how you're going to be informed. Okay, what happens if you refuse to have your fingerprints scanned or a photo taken of your face? Well, it simply says, you ain't getting in, brother. You will be denied entry into the territory of the European countries using the EES. You just aren't getting in, period. Now, I know, like I said, and we're going to get into some comments I saw on TikTok about this, or X, I'm sorry. A lot of people are pissed about this and they don't want to give up their biometrics to get in and out of Europe. And, it's like, well, if you don't care about traveling to Europe, then maybe this is no big deal to you, right? But if you really want to go to Europe, you really have no choice. It's basically what they're saying. Now, who's accessing your personal data? Here's a good one. All right, of course, the border visa immigration authorities, Europol, am I saying that right? Europol, for law enforcement purposes. And it could be transferred to another country outside of the EU or international organizations like migration. Okay, that's what I'm saying. This all looks good on paper, especially for people who have something to hide. And then it says, okay, we'll skip all that. Now, how long do they keep your data? That was another question I had. All of the records, including refusal of entry, is 3 years, starting on the date on which you created it. 3 years, they got your data on file. So remember that. Now, there are some exceptions. I won't go into all that. If you're a family member of an EU person, blah, blah, blah. So how is it protected? They say it's protected against abuse and access to it's restricted to specific staff with national authorities. Okay. Your data cannot be transferred to third parties, whether public or private entities, except in certain cases, which must be under criminal cases, I would imagine. All right. Now, here's one thing that sort of rubbed me wrong, guys. This part right down here. Full compliance with fundamental rights and data protection rules requires technology and information systems to be well designed and correctly used. What? Why would they put that clause in there? Doesn't that scare you? To be well designed and correctly used. Yeah, okay. Here comes the play with the hackers. You see what I'm saying? What you saying, Alex? Let me catch up on my chat. All right. Traveling is becoming more and more of a hassle. I agree. Alex says, I can always travel in the Balkan countries, which are not in the EU. Most of them, not in the EU yet, Alex. Not yet. I think what I read recently, your country in Serbia, is it your country? It's either you or Albania. Somebody wants to get into the Schengen. They want the EU. So look into that. It may be your country. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that, but I know it was one of the Balkan countries. It says, I can always, Okay, do you really believe that they will just delete things after 3 years? Yeah, I know, right? I don't really believe it either. Okay, let's go into something else. This gets deep. That's what I'm saying. This really gets interesting and opens up a lot of can of worms. All right. It's about checking your remaining days. What rights do you have as regards to your personal data? It says you have a right to request from the controller access to data relating to you. You have a right to request that inaccurate or incomplete data is corrected. And you can request that unlawfully processed personal data concerns you is erased and or request that specific data are not processed. To exercise any of these rights, you must contact a data controller or a data protection officer, or you can go, it looks like relevant contact details, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so they're saying, like I said, it's all good on paper, but they're saying that you have a right to have things corrected. That's what I'm saying. Like, let's say they mix you up with a terrorist or somebody hacks the system and now you're looking like a terrorist, but you're not the person. And they're saying that you have a right to complain and correct your data. How far do you think my rights are going to go? If they, I don't know how it is in your country, Alex, but I know in America, it used to be that you are innocent until proven guilty, but now it's backwards. You're guilty until proven innocent. That's scary. So how much weight am I going to have, a little peon traveler moving from country to country, trying to prove my innocence and asking them to correct this data in the system? I'd like to hear down the road from some people that run into this problem. I'm going to keep an eye on this website. I'm just saying, I don't want to be negative, but there are some cans of worms you have to address here. Okay, you said not us. We got Kosovo unresolved. Ah, okay. So maybe it was Albania. Maybe it was Albania. Okay, let's jump back. Let me see. All right, let me see. So this says you can make a complaint to the supervisor, blah, 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 all this stuff. Okay, so there's that. And let me see if there was one other thing we wanted to get into. Let me get into something else. So we got the F&Q, the data held. Yeah, I think we pretty much covered it all. What you going on? Okay, Alex, I think correction of data refers to changes in your name, spelling, changes in address. Yeah, right? Like, yeah. I don't know. Like I said, this world is pretty damn scary, and it seems like the innocent person is getting more and more targeted than the person that's actually committing the crime. Food for thought. All right. Let me show you this other one here. Let's get into some of these comments, man. This is going to blow your mind. Let me show you this. Okay. This is from an EU guy. I don't really know him personally. Jim Ferguson. Shout out if you know Jim Ferguson. I don't know Jim Ferguson, but he goes into the mass surveillance, EU. So he explains everything we just went over. But I want you to particularly see some comments. Okay, we're going to get into some of these comments these people made. Strengthening the border and border control is locking the barn door after the house has been stolen or the horse has been stolen. Tens of millions of illegals have already invaded European nations, with more pouring in every day. Millions more will have invaded Europe by the time these measures are in place. But these are far worse negative consequences to this increased surveillance and border control. It's the nature of governments to always abuse power for more and more totalitarian control and suppression of rights and freedoms. Governments always gaslight populations with noble and lofty sounding goals, which are then used to oppress people more and more. Europe is rapidly descending down the slope toward totalitarianism and suppression. There is no doubt in my mind they will use such measures as digital ID, digital currencies, and stronger border controls as weapons against citizens. Okay, this was from Jay Kerner. Whoa. You see what I'm talking about? So this guy, he sees it as a negative. Okay. And like I said, I'm always the optimistic. I would like to think that this will help in the long run, especially against illegal immigrants or undocumented, but it is in the back of my mind about them collecting all of my biometric info and having it on file for 3 years, where supposedly it's protected from third parties, but yet you still got the problem. I mean, I'm going to tell you something. I heard in America, and I had to hurry up and jump on this, like literally, they said that somebody hacked into the Social Security Administration. This is like, and they hacked into millions. We're talking millions of people's Social Security numbers online. And I got a warning about that fraud alert on one of my bank apps, right? And it said to take precautionary measures and to freeze your Social Security number. So I don't know, Alex, if you guys deal with Social Security. That's like your ID number. That's what like you open credit cards with, like if your credit's really good and somebody snags your Social Security number, they can literally open up a credit card in your name, make charges, and just run with it. And then it's all on you to prove your innocence. Otherwise, you're not making the payments and everything starts to tank and there goes your credit, right? All because somebody stole your Social Security number. So me personally, the minute I heard about that, I jumped right on all 3 of the credit bureau agencies. Like we have, I don't know if they have it over there, but we have Experian. Oh God, help me out. Equifax, Experian, and then there's one other I can't think of right now. But I went on all 3 of those bad boys and I froze my Social Security number. In other words, it's almost like going on an app with your credit cards and locking your credit card. That's what you do with your Social Security numbers. You go there and you freeze it. And then anytime you need to open up a line of credit, you just go ahead of time and unfreeze your Social Security number and then you're cool, right? But this protects you from fraudulent activity where people can steal your ID and open up credit cards and what have you. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's scary, man. All right, let's get into our chats. Let's see. We shall see, Alex says. It's like throwing out a big fishing net to catch one fish with a million fish inside the net. Good analogy. I love it. I am a pessimistic. Really? Did I really think you were? I somehow thought you were. It's okay. It's okay. Alex says, I think this is just stepping closer to full control of everyone. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What else you got? Alex says, in Serbia, we don't have a Social Security number. Okay. This is an American thing. We have ID cards, and each citizen gets a personal number at birth. A personal number. Well, isn't that like a Social Security number? I don't understand. Like, what do you get? The number 7 and that's your number? Is that your personal ID number? I don't know. Anyway, that's interesting. That's interesting. Let's check out some more of these comments. Let me get back into this. We're going to check this out. Okay. So that's one guy's comment. Jinx, the future says this is to track the natives. Okay, let's get beyond. I think that was it. Let's track the natives. Okay, so there you go. There's that one. Now, that was from Europe. That was a comment from Europe. And I'm going to show you this last thing, which is a comment from America. Okay, this is coming from America. You know what I'm saying? Know what I'm saying? Do, 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 do. Oh, What have you done for me lately? Okay, here we go. April Color. Let me pull her into vision. April Color. April Color. Okay, so she's talking about how all this passport stuff starting on November 10. And let's look at the comments under her post. And some of these are questionable. I can't read. Michael Gallagher says, I guess I won't be traveling to Europe for the foreseeable future. Okay. And then we got Mark Lewis says, nope, not doing it. Gary Walters says, Europeans are getting too big for their britches. They forget that the USA saved them countless times. I don't know what that's going. We're just going to leave that alone. And Nani Krisa says, those who will continue to enter completely unchecked will remain illegal immigrants imported en masse by NGOs using EU money. And Roma de Leon says, F Europe. Alex says, not you, Alex. Alex Frail, it's time to do the same. He's talking about in the United States. Just a few months later, this is a matter of principle. Okay, now here's a guy who says we should do the same thing in the United States. And you know what? I almost agree with this guy because, hey, if Europe's doing this and is already going to have my information on file, why can't we do it in America with the Mexico border? Like, I don't really want to get into detail, but in my opinion, the barn door's been left open way too long. And if China's already got this, Europe's getting this now on November 10, then who's to say America's not next? And everybody's freaking out. I mean, I get it. Nobody wants their digital information stored with the government, but okay, just take Checking Point, right? See this thing? It's called a phone, right? This bad boy already has my biometric info. How? Well, let's face it. When you go on a banking app, they give you two options. Either you can enter in with your password or you can enter with your fingerprint. Same thing with locking your phone, right? Password or fingerprint. So they've already got my fingerprint. And not to mention, how about some other apps that actually say to you, in order, okay, for instance, let's say you want to get an online job. This is something that happened to me. We need proof of who you are. Please submit a picture of your face holding a form of ID next to your face. Example, either your driver's license or your passport. And you take a picture with your phone and you send it to the job. This is already happening, people. It's already here. But it's just not in place to actually move into the United States, to be able to cross our borders legally. Whoa, Alex, okay, hold up, bro. Let me catch up with you. Okay. It's a long number, but we all know it by heart. Is it? Okay. 13 digits. Damn, 13 digits? No way, bro. How long's mine? 7. Mine's only 10. Mine's 10. No, I'm sorry, it's 9. Count again. I have a 9-digit number. Yeah. Okay. Don't the American airports already have your facial pictures and fingerprints? Yeah. They have something. It's like a fast track lane. I actually applied for that before I left the United States. If you want to get through the lines quicker through security, they have call the fast track lane, and you do have to submit. You have to go to an office ahead of time before you go to the airport. They tell you which location. You submit your ID, you do your face, you do your fingerprints. It's in the computer, and then when you get to the airport, they already have the information by just looking at your passport, and boom, you're gone. So yeah. But if you don't do it, I don't think they already have it. They don't have your info. All they have is your passport. But then again, I haven't been into the United States airports in 2 years. I am going back 2 more months. I'll be heading back to the United States. So I will let you know what happens. All right, let me see what else you got, Alex. Yep, the phone and credit cards, they track you with them wherever you are. So they already got everything on you, everything. That's what I'm saying. So why are people so upset over this? They're just saying it's further control. Okay, let's read a little bit more of these comments because it gets pretty deep. Okay, there's nothing there for me. Hard pass. Nope. All set. Europe is off my bucket list. If the EU does it, then we should do. Okay, that's what we're talking about. We should do it too. Okay, let's go here. Wonder how many Americans that are against voter ID will have no problem complying with the new EU regulations. That's sarcasm. What if I just show up in a rubber raft? I think you're still crossing the border, but you might get away with it. Hard pass. Okay, I'm not saying that. Eat sugar, honey, iced tea, Europe. I wonder what it's called when the state controls and monitors movement of its citizens and visitors through an oppressive system of government controls and sanctions. Hey, Vladimir and Carl, welcome to the EU. And then this guy says, nah, I try to avoid third world countries anyway. Okay, now that's sort of bad. I mean, come on, bro. Europe is in third world countries. I don't know where that came from. Balkans, in my opinion, are not third world countries. So I have to disagree with that. Well, guys, there you go. That's what's coming down the pipes in Europe on November 10th. Ready or not, it's here. It's here. So here's the question for you. Will you be traveling to Europe anytime soon? And here's another question, food for thought. Do you think this is a positive or a negative? I think there's more comments, as you can see from X, that this is more of a negative for the everyday hardworking citizen that has nothing to hide and who's just trying to pay their bills and have peace in their life. It's a negative because we feel like we're being more and more scrutinized and oppressed. But it seems like all the bad guys and the people that are actually getting away with things, doesn't seem like the system works for them. But like I said, I'm hoping and praying that it doesn't oppress us, that it actually lifts us as a people and that keeps us safe, keeps Europe safe. I really do. Oh, you're welcome, Alex. You're going to just travel across the Balkans until you see how it goes. I hear you. Well, I'm not telling you where I'm going. I got 2 more countries left in Europe. I'm actually leaving next Wednesday to one of them. And then I have 1 more after that. And then I'm heading out. Well, the plan was to fly out on November 13, which is 3 days after this thing is implemented, because that's how my Airbnb is running. But then I'm like, what if I skirted out on November 9th so that I can avoid this whole mess, right? So I don't have my data sitting there on a file for 3 years, because actually I don't foresee myself going back into Europe other than the non-EU countries like Serbia and all that. I don't see myself going back into Europe anytime real soon. I mean, it's beautiful. I love it, but it is expensive. And I'm trying to do the cheapest thing I can do, but it is pretty dang expensive. What's she saying? Thank you for saying the Balkans are not third world. Hey, you're welcome. I've been there. I know. I mean, it's like I've experienced your country. I love your country. Serbia rocks, man. I ain't got nothing against Serbian people or anything. I liked Albania. I liked North Macedonia. Now, what I didn't really like about their country is that they still do smoking indoors, and I don't smoke, and that's rough when they ain't got a door or a window open. So, yeah, I'm not really a big fan of that. Anyway, Spain. Ooh, I can't tell you. I can't tell you. I really can't tell you. We'll see. We shall see. We shall overcome. You already said it before. What? Did I say Spain? I love you too, Alex. Did I say Spain? There's no way I told you Spain. You're lying. I know you're like, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm pulling your leg, okay? I'm just like, I'm playing with you, bro. All right, Alex. Thanks for joining my live stream. You rock. Hopefully we can get more people to come in and enjoy this live stream as well. But like they say, all good things got to come to end. Thank you for taking the time out to join me on this Saturday evening, and you enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I'll catch you back here next Saturday. Mwah. Love you. Adioso. No, I didn't.